Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicole and this is Dusty Book Sniffers, and today I'm here to talk about a book that I've just recently read and quite honestly has left me a little bit confused. So I don't know how coherent this book review is going to be. It is the book called Audition by Katie Kitamura, and it was published by Riverhead Books, and it's been getting a little bit of buzz lately because it did make its way onto the Booker long list for 2025. So let's get started. Well, good morning or good evening, everybody, and welcome back. As I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about Audition by Katie Kitamura, and it was published by Riverhead Books. It made its way onto the long list for the Booker Prize, and you're probably thinking to yourself, Booker Prize? Why are you talking about Booker Prize? Never talk about Booker Prize. Well, this year some of my subscribers have convinced me that it was a good idea to read the entire long list. So here I am on my second book from the long list, and it's a little bit of a strange one. It's a bit of a head scratcher. Had me quite confused, but I think that is exactly the point of this book. All right, so it is set in, and I've got some notes here in front of me, so do bear with me while I bring the notes up because I was so confused by this book. And quite honestly, I just don't think I got the book. But on reflection, I feel like, yeah, I did. Because I actually think that the author had purposely done this. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritties of the book. There might be some slight spoilers. I will try to avoid that territory, and that if you haven't already read the book. But it is a little bit difficult to talk about this book without giving some slight spoilers. So I'm going to be vague, but at the same time, if you've read the book, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And if you haven't read the book, it should not spoil it for you. So plot points in this book is we have a middle-aged actress who is in New York, who is an unnamed narrator. So basically we've got this feeling like, can we actually trust what the narrator is actually saying? So we have that. She's a stage actress as well, and she's married to a man named Thomas, and but she has also got this other person in her life, Xavier, and they have met at a busy Manhattan restaurant because he needs to talk to her. Like, there is that urgency that comes from him that he needs to talk to her. So we find this all out in the beginning of the book, who all the players are and everything like that. And Xavier is quite adamant that he needs to talk to her, and it gives her the sense of the urgency and all of that sort of stuff. So they meet, and then he drops a bombshell that he thinks that he might be her son, and basically she's saying that is impossible because she's only ever been pregnant. This is in the first half of the book. She's only been pregnant twice in her life. Once she had a termination, and another time she miscarried. But she's a little bit unsettled by this because as she's looking at him, she can see some resemblances and stuff like that. So it's very weird in that aspect, and I'm like, how can he claim to be her son if she's only been pregnant twice? I think that she would know, right? So this is in the first half of the book, and it had me quite perplexed for quite some time. Then the second half of the book, and this is where the sort of spoiler is, we're bordering on spoiler territory, because the second half of the book, it flips that, and they're living in a family unit as if he is her son. So for me, it was almost like a sliding doors moment for this book. Like that's the feel I got, like if different choices were made, this is the outcome. So that there was that. But then we also on the other and like it was so weird because I'm like, hang on, what, did I miss something as I was reading this book? And it was quite a hectic day on the day that I was reading it. So I thought, oh, maybe I missed something with the interruptions that I was getting with phone calls and everything. But on reflection, I'm like, no, I didn't. Because I did go back and have a listen, and I'm like, no, I didn't. So it did actually flip itself on its head. So we, as I said, in the first part, we've got this whole scene playing out where, sorry about the trucks and everything going past, this construction up the road, and I can't help it. And I'm running out of time to film these, so you just have to bear with it. So basically, yeah, we've got this second half of the book where we've got a family unit, but in the first half of the book, we've got denial almost. And so as on reflection of this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so what is the author trying to do here? You know, is it like a sliding door moment? Is it, you know, the choices that we make, you know, and around motherhood and all that sort of stuff? Because, you know, definitely in the first part, she is not a mother. And she is quite adamant about it. But in the second part, she's playing the role of a mother. And this is where we come into like reflecting on the cover, reflecting about the narrative, not knowing who the narrator is because we don't have a name. She's almost anonymous. Can we trust what she's saying? You know, and it's very off-putting, and it really does make you feel very unbalanced as you're reading the book, but in a really good way. Like, I didn't want to put it down. I had a good time with it. And like, while I was confused the whole time I was reading it, and also confused after I finished reading the book as well, and on a reflection, I'm like, okay, so there's a few things happening here. We've got, you know, a woman who is middle-aged, so probably going through some stuff in her own personal life, feeling like she's sort of invisible. And that's sort of, I guess, reflected in a way because she's on stage and everybody's scrutinizing her. But as she's getting older, she's probably not feeling as, you know, under the spotlight, and how people are perceiving her and all that sort of stuff. If I'm not making any sense, that's because I couldn't make sense of this book, okay? And I'm not saying that it's a terrible book. I actually really enjoyed it because I like a challenge. So basically, you through the whole book, you're questioning what you're reading, and Kitamura has done it in such a way that you can't stop reading even though you're confused and you have these questions and you're not quite sure and you're feeling very misplaced and you're feeling disjointed and all these things. And this is just for me. I mean, it could be different for other people. I'm not too sure, but I just feel like it was just so interesting. Like, and I'm really I haven't gone and watched anybody's reviews or anything. Like, I've been seeing them popping up, people that read the Booker list. I've seen them popping up because I'm subscribed to them because of Women's Prize and Booker Prize and other prize lists and stuff. I've seen them popping up and I haven't been watching them, and I'm so curious to see what some of them have thought about this book, or whether it is just me. So I feel like it was a disjointed reality, and almost like we had two realities. We've got the first one where she's not a mother, and the second one where she's almost playing the role of a mother. They're living in a family unit. They're going through the day-to-day life, you know, having breakfast, all that sort of stuff. There's also, you know, a girlfriend that comes into it as well and causes up, there was some upheaval, and, you know, and I'm trying to talk about it without giving things away. So it is quite very interesting. So basically for me, that's all I'm really going to talk about, like the plot and what was happening in the book. But I'm just going to sort of talk about how I felt about the book now. And as I said, and as you've heard, I've been quite confused by this book, and that's quite understandable. And upon reflection, and also talking a bit about it with people on Sprints the other day, I felt like that I was meant to feel disjointed, that we are taking a spotlight look at her womanhood and the fact that being a mother and not being a mother, and also some of the choices that we make in life and how they're going to affect our life. So whether or not to have children, or, you know, does that affect your relationship later on in life? Infidelity was also talked about in here as well. So there's the whole trust issues and all of that sort of thing as well. And also how we find ourselves in the world, where we place ourselves. Are we scrutinized by the people in our lives and the relationships that we have with those people in our lives? So as you can see, there is a lot to unpack in this book. Now, this book only come in at 208 pages. I'm not sure if I've said this already, but it was published by Riverhead. It is on the Booker Prize longlist. I've got a sneaking suspicion that this is probably going to end up in the shortlist because it's such a compelling but disjointed feeling, confusion, and all the things. And to me, that's what makes this book so good. And I know that this review is probably not making any sense at all. And then, as I was reflecting on the book, I also took time to appreciate the cover art on this. It's a very simple cover, but when you look at it, it's got that like disjointed look to the title and the author's name. And so that's what sort of compelled me to think that, you know, this is very, very disjointed. And also the book is sort of laid out like we know that she's a stage actress. And that's all we really know about her. We know that she's had some moments with her husband that is, in the first part, there was infidelity, and there was almost, he spotted them in the restaurant. So there was that narrative around that of what he was thinking about Xavier, even though it was a planned meeting and it was nothing nefarious at all. There was that whole narrative that was running through her head. And then, you know, in the second part, we've got where he is, the husband is more attentive to her. They're more playing a family and all that sort of stuff. So it feels like you've got these two parts playing as well. So it's so interesting. Like, it's such an interesting book to read, and confusing, and all the things that I've already said. So I'm not too... And it almost feels like even though the book's called Audition, like I was a little bit confused by that title, but it's almost like the author is talking about life is an audition, in a way. Like, so you've got that, you know, like you're almost auditioning to be in someone's life, so to speak. So there was like, I sort of pulled a bit of that as well. And I'm just like wondering what other people are actually thinking about this book, because as I said, I haven't watched anybody. So it'll be interesting to see what they've pulled from this book, because I really think that in a way you come to your own conclusion about what the book is about. Yeah, I don't know, because I was pulling so many things from this, because as I said, I feel like it was about motherhood, the choices that we make, whether to be a mother or not to be a mother. I think it was about intimacy, whether, you know, on the level of seeking approval as well, you know, like so many things, how the people see us, relationships, how those relationships affect our life and all that sort of stuff. There was just so many things that I was pulling out of this book, but at the same time there were no definitive answers that yes, that is the theme, yes, this is it. So if I was to sum it up how I felt about it, it's about a place in the world, your identity, you know, how we have relationships with others and all the things. And I know that you're all sitting there going, but this book review is not making any sense at all. I'm with you right there. It is not making any sense whatsoever to me either, but I think that is the point. Now, this is the first time I've ever read anything by Katie Kitamura, and I'm excited to go and read more by this author. It's the first time I've ever read, like I've read books here and there off the booker list, but this is the first time that I've ever like really honed in and looking at the books and actually talking about the books and reading the entire long list. So 2025 is a big year for learning about new authors and all the things that go with that. So I'm off on a little bit of a journey, but I'm really keen to read more from Katie Kitamura, because I feel like their writing is really beautiful in one aspect, confusing in this one, but I feel like that they've got a lot to say with their writing, and I really want to experience more from them. So you're probably wondering what my rating for this one is. I have actually given this a 3.75, almost bordering, like I'm leaning more to a 4-star rating. So, and I feel like that that's a really good rating for it. And as I said, the more I think about it, the more I'm pushing towards a 4-star. I have rated it 4-star on Goodreads because we can't do, you know, the fractions of stars and stuff like that, so I have rounded it up to a 4, and I've said that in my Goodreads review as well. I'm probably a little bit more succinct in what my thoughts are, but not at the same time with the written review, but this talking one, oh my goodness. But you know, the things that worked for me in this book was the bold two-part structure, the themes of identity and womanhood, the exploration of family and relationships. The writing style also hit home for me as well. And some of the things that probably aren't going to work for people, which I have listed down here, is it's confusing. but it's intentionally, and some readers are not going to gel with that at all. Like it's just not going to, and they'll find it frustrating and whatnot. The plot it's not a plot driven book, so it is a very much a character driven book. So I know that there's a lot of people out there like to have a solid plot in their book, so this is probably not going to be for you, and probably because it feels so vague in a way. Like this so much is not said in this book, but at the same time it's almost screaming at you, if that makes sense. And some readers just really need to have that firm concrete. They need to know there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they need to have answers. So that's for those sort of readers. This book is probably not going to hit for you. So overall, I found it, you know, it was complex, it was confusing, it was wonderful, it was all the things. I went on a roller coaster of emotions with this one because I was getting so frustrated with it. But overall, I think that was the whole point of this book. So as I said, I've given it a 3.75 star. And that is my review of Audition, although it is fairly messy. I hope you enjoyed this video today. I've had a lot of fun reading this book and trying to figure out where I fell with this book. If you've read this book, let me know in the comments, was it a yay or nay for you? I try to not put too many spoilers down there, and I know that's going to be hard with this one. But put a yay or nay for you down there. Are you interested in reading it? Also answer that question as well. And if you don't want to leave a comment at all, just leave me a stack of books so I know that you have made it this far. And of course, join me again in the next video as I continue my journey on the 2025 Booker Prize Longlist, and see what I think of the next book. I have no idea which one I'm going to read. I'm thinking One Boat might be the next one that I read. So yeah, do join me and to find out. And the best way to do that is to be subscribed to the channel. And while you're down there, give it a thumbs up as well. And as always, keep turning those pages, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.